Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Mystic Life Astrology. June 2026 is not a loud month, but we should not underestimate it. This is a month of emotional renewal, inner healing, and a powerful shift from safety into visibility. June begins with a lot of Cancerian energy. This brings back to home family, emotional security, belonging, protection, and the question, where do I actually feel safe? But by the end of the month, Jupiter moves into Leo. And suddenly the question changes. This is not longer only where do I feel safe? It becomes now that I know what I need, where I am ready to shine. So June is like a bridge. We begin in Cancer with emotional processing. We end in Leo with creativity, confidence, courage, romance, visibility, and self-expression. On June the 1st, Mercury enters Cancer. This means our mind becomes more emotional, more intuitive, and sensitive. We're not prone thinking with logic. We're not just thinking with logic. We're thinking through memory, through feeling, through family patterns, through the body. And then on 8th of June and June 11, Venus and Jupiter come together in Cancer. This is one of the sweetest moments of the month. It can bring emotional support, love, kindness, family healing, gratitude, and a feeling that life is trying to protect something tender within us. This is a beautiful energy, reconnecting with people you love, spending time at home, nurturing yourself, and remembering what truly matters. But Mercury is slowing down. On June the 12th, Mercury enters its pre-retrograde shadow in Cancer. So we have to pay attention. Conversation, decisions, memories, and emotional topics that appear now may come back for later review. On June 13, Venus enters Leo. This brings warm confidence, pressure, attraction, style, creativity, and the desire to be seen. Venus in Leo asking us, can you receive attention without shame? Can you enjoy life without guilt? Can you let yourself be loved without performing for it? On June 14, we have the new moon in Gemini. This is a fresh beginning around communication, learning, writing, speaking, social media, ideas, and choices. But because Mercury is already in shadow, this new moon is not about rushing. It is about planting the seed that will grow over time. On June the 20th, Chiron entered in Taurus, and this is huge. Chiron has not been in Taurus for many years now, and this begins a deep healing cycle around money, self-worth, the body, safety, receiving, pleasure, and the fear of not having enough. Collectively, this is very important. We're healing our relationship with value, but the value of the body, not with money, but the value with the body, the value of nature, the value of softness, the value of being human in a world that is changing so fast. On June 21st, the Sun entered Cancer, bring more focus to home, family memories, emotions, and belongings. On June 29, Mercury station retrograde in Cancer. And we also have the full moon in Capricorn. So this is a very important day. Cancer and Capricorn are both about security, but in different way. Ask me, I'm Capricorn, Cancer X. Cancer asks, what do I need emotionally? And Capricorn asks, what I'm responsible for in this real world. So around the end of June, something may come to the head around family, work, responsibility, emotional need, boundaries, and long-term plans. And finally, on June 30th, Jupiter enters Leo. This is one of the biggest shifts of the year. Jupiter has been in Cancer, helping us grow emotionally, reconnecting with family, and building inner security. But now, Jupiter moves into Leo. And for the next year, the growth comes through confidence, creativity, romance, joy, heart-led expression. Think back to 2014 and 2015. What was expanding in your life back then? Were you being asked to be braver, more visible, more creative, or more confident back in that time, 2014, 2015? A similar theme may return now, but this time you're wiser because you've been through this cycle once. So, beautiful souls, June is not asking us to rush. It is asking us to listen, to heal, to review, to soften, and then slowly to remember our own light. Slowly remember your light. Oh, I want to say congratulations to Bulgaria and Dara for winning Eurovision. This is such a powerful moment, not only for her personality, but also for the collective pride and joy of Bulgaria. Dara is already under a very powerful transit because transiting Pluto is now within a 3-degree orb of conjuncting her natal Uranus in the 11th house. This means the energy has already started. Even if the exact conjunction has not happened yet, Pluto is close enough to awaken the Uranus theme in her chart. The 11th house is not the house of is the house of fans, audiences, social networks, dreams, future goals, and collective recognitions. Uranus here shows someone who can suddenly become visible through something unusual like Bangaranga, original or unexpected. When Pluto starts activating Uranus in this house, it can bring a major transformation through the public. It can show a sudden shift in her social influence, her fan base, and the way the wider collective responds to her. This is the type of transits that can change someone's place in the world. It can bring breakthrough energy, but also intensity and pressure. Because Pluto does not bring small changes, Pluto brings deeper transformation, but she done the work before that, so she 100% deserves this change, and Pluto is rewarding her because she's been through the dark times and she came to the light. So Dara, this Eurovision moment may not be random. Astrologically, it shows a powerful turning point where her uniqueness, her audiences, and her future path are completely transformed. Now, let's go through the all 12 signs. Watch your rising sign first, then your sun and the moon sign. Enjoy watching. Aries rising. Aries, June brings your focus to home, family, community, creativity, and your sense of self-worth. Mercury enter Cancer on June the 1st and activate your fourth house of home, family, prosperity, childhood memories, and emotional foundations. You may already feel more reflective. You may be thinking about your living situation, family dynamics, or something from the past that still lives inside you emotionally. This is not just logical thinking, this is emotional intelligence. You are asked, does this feel safe for me now? Around 8th of June till 11th of June, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your fourth house. This is beautiful for home blessings, family healing, decorating your space, reconnecting with loved ones, or simply feeling more supported inside yourself. It's a beautiful conjunction. We had it last year as well. It was a beautiful, wonderful time. But from June 12th, Mercury enters shadow. So if family conversation, house decision, or emotional memory comes up, do not rush to finalize everything. It may need review. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and lights up your fifth house of romance, joy, creativity, children's pleasure, and self-expression. This is where the month starts to feel lighter. You may feel more playful, more attractive, more inspired, and more ready to enjoy life again. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your third house. This is a fresh start for communication, writing, learning, teaching, content creation, if you wish, siblings, neighbors, or social media. Plant an intention around your voice. What do you want to say differently now? The Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins deeper healing in your second house of money, resources, self-worth, and values. Aries, this is important. You may begin to see where you have tied your worth to productivity, income, compassion, or survival. This is not here to punish you. Bear in mind, this is here to heal the story of I'm not enough. By the end of the month, Mercury retrograde in Cancer asks you to revisit family patterns and emotional foundation. The full moon in Capricorn on June 29th lights up your 10th house of career and public life, so there may be balance needed between home and work. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th, moving into your 5th house for the next year. Aries, this is gorgeous. Creativity, romance, confidence, children, joy, performance, and passion expanding. Your message for June is come home to yourself first, then let your heart create from a safer space. Comment below, Aries, and what are you ready to create? What is the next chapter of creation? Now let's move on to Taurus rising. Taurus, June is a powerful month for your voice, your mind, your home, and your identity. Mercury enters Cancer on June 1st and activates your third house of communication, learning, writing, siblings, neighbors, short trips, and daily conversations. You may notice that conversations become more emotional. You are not only listening the words, you're listening the tone, energy, and what is not being said. Around June 8 till 11 of June, Venus and Jupiter meet Cancer in your third house. Beautiful conjunction in the third house. This can bring beautiful conversation, loving message, supportive connections, good news, or a strong idea that feels emotionally meaningful. This is also wonderful for website work, writing, speaking, social media, teaching, or reconnecting with siblings or people who feel like family. If you are not in social media, then after that you may start doing social media. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadows here, so conversation may begin, but not fully resolved yet. Let it unfold. Venus, your ruling planet, enters Leo on June 13 and activates your fourth house of home, family roots, and emotional security. You may want to beautify your home, bring more warmth into the space, or spend time with people who make you feel safer. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 12th house, second house, of money, self-worth, and resources. This is a fresh financial beginning. Set intention around income, savings, talents, receiving more support. But the bigger shift for you is Chiron entering Taurus on June 19. This begins a deeper healing cycle in your first house of identity, body, appearance, confidence, and how you show up to the world. Taurus, this may feel personal. You may start questioning, who are you now? Not who you used to be, not who people expect you to be, but who are you truly after everything you've been through? This transit may bring up wounds around self-worth, body, confidence, visibility, and receiving. But it also brings healing. You're learning to live like someone who knows their value. On June 29, Mercury retrograde asks you to review communication, contracts, conversation, and decisions. The Capricorn full moon lights up in your ninth house, bringing a realization around travel, education, beliefs, publishing, or your future direction. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and moves into your fourth house for the next year. Your home life, family, property, emotional roots, and inner security can grow. Your message for June: your voice is changing because you're changing. Speak from the version of you that know their worth. Comment below, Taurus, what are you ready to heal about yourself? I would love to know. Next, Gemini. Gemini rising. Gemini. June is a major month for you because we have a new moon in your sign, first of all, Mercury in shadow, and a big focus on money, identity, and communication. How wonderful is that? Mercury, your ruling planet, enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your second house of money, income, resources, self-worth, and values. You may be thinking more deeply about your finances, but also about your emotional relationship with money. This is not only how much do I have, but it is more like, do I feel safe? Doesn't matter how much I have, but do I feel safe? Do I feel valued? Do I trust myself to receive? Around 8th of June till 11th, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your second house. This can bring financial support. So that's the moment when you should play lottery ticket. Just one. Around 8th to 11th of June, a new idea comes, a confident boost, or a moment where you realize your value in a deeper way. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadow in the same area. Be mindful of financial decisions, payments, contracts, review, and self-worth conversations. Something may need to be reviewed before it becomes clear. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and lights up your third house. Your words becomes more attractive. This is beautiful for content creation, teaching, writing, speaking, social media, networking, and reconnecting with siblings and local communities. On June 14, the new moon in Gemini happens in your first house. This is your personal reset. It is birthday month for many Geminis and a beautiful moment to plant intention for the next version of yourself. So ask yourself, who I am becoming? Do I want to be seen? What new identity I'm ready to claim? Then Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins its healing cycle in your 12th house. This is deep, private, and spiritual healing. Old fears, subconscious patterns, hidden grief, or survival stories may begin to surface now. You may realize that you have been carrying pressure silently. You may need more rest, more surrender, more spiritual support, and more compassion to yourself. On June 29th, Mercury station retrograde in your second house, asking you to review money, spending, income, and self-worth. The Capricorn full moon activates your 8th house, bringing a culmination around shared resources, tips, taxes, intimacy, trust, or emotional vulnerability. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of expansion of your third house. Your voice grows, your mind opens, your ability to teach, write, speak, market, sell, and they connect and they expand so beautifully. Your message for June. Your words are powerful, but your word is not something you need to prove. It is something you need to remember. So comment below, Gemini, what are new version of yourself you are calling in. Next, Cancer. Cancer rising. Cancer June is so deeply personal for you. This is a month of identity, self-expression, healing, and preparing for a new financial cycle. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your first house. Your mind turns towards you. Your body, your voice, your identity, your decision, your need, your emotions, everything becomes louder. You may feel more sensitive, but also more honest. You may suddenly realize, this is how I really feel. This is what I actually need. Or this is who I am now. Meet the new me. Around 8th of June to 11th of June, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your first house, and this is so beautiful. Where you had Jupiter for 1 year and now Jupiter and Venus meeting. You may feel more magnetic, supported, attractive, hopeful, or emotionally protected. People may be drawn to you. This is wonderful for self-care, beauty, confidence, and fresh personal beginnings. From June the 12th, Mercury enters shadow in your sign. So, if you are making a personal decision, give yourself time. You may still be processing who you are becoming. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your second house of money, self-worth, value, and resources. This can attract financial opportunities, but it also asks you to value yourself properly. So do not undercharge. Do not minimize your gift. Do not shrink your worth. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 12th house. This is a quiet new beginning. It may not be visible to everyone, but it is powerful. Set intention around rest, healing, spiritual practice, closure, forgiveness, and releasing the old version of yourself. Then Chiron enter Taurus on June 19 and beginning a healing cycle in your 11th house of friendship, community, social networks, groups, and long-term dreams. Cancer. This may bring questions around belongings. Where are your people? Where do you feel included? Where have you outgrown old groups? Where do you need safer, more aligned friendships? There may be a moment of loneliness, but also a beautiful opportunity to find your true soul community. On June 29th, Mercury station retrograde in your sign, asking you to review your identity, communication, and personal decisions. The Capricorn full moon lights up your 7th house of relationships, so partnership dynamics may come to focus. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of growth in your 2nd house. This can expand your income, confidence, value, and self-worth. Your message for June, Cancer, is you're not the same person you were last year. Give yourself permission to become visible in your new values. Comment below, Cancer, what part of you is ready to be seen. Next, Leo. Leo rising. Hello, Leo. How are you? Leo. June begins quietly, but ends with one of the bigger shifts of the year for you. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 12th house of rest, dreams, healing, solitude, subconscious patterns, and closure. You may feel more tired, reflective, emotional, and spiritually sensitive. This is not a month to force clarity. This is a month to listen to dream, to the body signals, listen to your intuition and quiet feelings. Around 8th of June and 11th, Venus and Jupiter meets in Cancer in your 12th house. And this is so wonderful. It can bring deep healing, spiritual protection, forgiveness, emotional release, or support behind the scene. You may feel guided by something invisible. From June the 12th, Mercury enters shadow here. Old memories, private thoughts, or unfinished emotional stories may return. Let them come up, but do not judge yourself for still healing. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your first house. This is when the energy starts to shift. Your magnetism returns. You may feel more attractive, creative, visible, and ready to express yourself. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 11th house of friendship, community, media, social media, future plans, and long-term dreams. This is a fresh start for you, Leo. A fresh start for your networks. Plant intention around the people you want in your future. Think who I want to build my future with. Then Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your 10th house of career, reputation, visibility, authority, and public life. Leo, this is important. You may begin healing wounds around being seen. You may question your direction around authority, your public role, or whether you're truly going what you're meant to do. Are you're truly doing what you're meant to do? This can feel vulnerable, Leo, but it can also make you powerful guide for others. On June 29, Mercury station retrograde in your 12th house, asking you to rest, reflect, and release. Then Capricorn full moon activates your 6th house, end of the month, bringing focus to healing, work routines, and the body. Then on June 30th, Jupiter enters Leo, and this is your moment. Leo moves in your first house. Jupiter moves in your first house, Leo, for the first time in 12 years. Beginning a year of growth, confidence, visibility, opportunity, and personal expansion. Think back for 2014, 2015. Something similar may return, but now you're wiser. Now you've been through this cycle before. Your message for June is rest before you rise. Heal before you expand, but know this, your light is returning. Comment below, Leo, what are you ready to step into it? Next is going to be Virgo rising. Virgo rising. Virgo rising. June bring focus to friendship, goals, career, spiritual healing, and your future direction. Mercury, your ruling planet, enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 11th house of community, friendship groups, social media, hopes, dreams, and long-term plans. You may begin thinking emotionally about your future, not just what should I do next. But there is something important here. You have to ask yourself a question: what do I want beside me? Who I want beside me while I'm building it? Around 8th of June and 11th of June, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your 11th house. This is lovely for friendship, supportive groups, networking, social invitations, community blessings, and even business gains through your audiences and network. From 12th of June, Mercury enters shadow here. A friend, goal, project, or collaboration may need review. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 12th house. This is a private Venus, Virgo. You may crave solitude, rest, spiritual connection, hidden creativity, or quiet healing. This is also a beautiful time for meditation, prayer, retreat, and letting go of old relationship patterns. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 10th house of career, reputation, public life, and purpose. This is a powerful professional reset, Virgo. You may be planting a seeds for a new role, new title, new visibility, or new direction. Then Chiron enters Taurus on 19th of June and begins a healing cycle in your ninth house of beliefs, higher education, travel, teaching, publishing, spirituality, and life philosophy. Virgo, you may begin questioning what you believe, not because you're lost, but because you're growing. Old beliefs may no longer fit. A path you once trusted may feel too small now. You are being asked to build a new philosophy from lived wisdom, not from fear. On June 29th, Mercury station retrograde in your 11th house. Old friends, old goals, old communities, old unfinished projects may return. The Capricorn full moon activates your 5th house, bringing a culmination around romance, children's, creativity, or joy. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of expansion in your 12th house. This is a spiritual protection, hidden support, healing retreats, and closure before your next big cycle begins. Your message for June is your future is changing because your inner truth is changing. Trust the quiet redirection. Comment below, Virgo, what future dreams is calling you back? I would love to know. Libra. Libra rising. Hello, Libra, how are you? June highlights career, visibility, friendships, deep healing, and the people who are coming with you into the future, Libra. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 10th house of career, reputation, public role responsibilities, and directions. You may be thinking about your path more emotionally than usual. This is not only what do I do? Sorry, let me drink water. It is more like, does this path feel right for my soul right now? Around June 8th to 11th, Venus and Jupiter meets in Cancer at the top of your chart. This can bring career support, recognition, a kind of authority figure, a professional opportunities, or a moment where people appreciate what you have built. From June the 12th, Mercury enters shadow here. A career conversation, decision, title, contract, or direction may need more time to develop, to come reality in the physical. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 11th house of friends, social networks, community, and long-term dreams. This is beautiful for being seen by the right people. Your audiences, community, or network may become warmer and more supportive. New moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 9th house of travel, teaching, publishing, learning, spirituality, and expansion. Once plant a seed around your bigger vision. What do you want to learn? Where do you want to go? What message do you want to share? Then Chiron enters on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your 8th house of intimacy, trust, shared money, debt, taxes, inheritance, vulnerability, and transformations. Libra, this is a deep work. You may begin healing old patterns around trust, emotional dependency, fear, or lost, financial entanglement, or feeling safe enough to be vulnerable. This may not be easy, but it is powerful. You are learning that true intimacy does not require losing yourself. On June 29th, Mercury station retrograde, in your 10th house, asking you to review career decisions and public directions. The Capricorn full moon activates your 4th house, bringing focus to home, family, property, and emotional foundations. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of growth in your 11th house. Your network expands. Your audiences can grow. Friends, groups, collaboration, and long-term dreams become bigger now. Your message for June is your future is expanding, but first, your foundation and emotional truth need your attention. Comment below, Libra. Where are you ready to be more visible? I would love to know. Let me know down below in the comments. Scorpio rising. Give me a moment to drink water. Scorpio rising. June brings growth through beliefs, relationship, trust, and career visibility. Mercury enters Cancer on June 1st and activates your 9th house of travel, higher education, spirituality, publishing, teaching, and life direction. You may be thinking deeply about your future and what you believe now. This is not just information. This is meaning, Scorpio. Around 8th of June till 11th, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your 9th house. This can bring blessing through travel, study, teaching, spiritual insights, international connection, publishing, or new vision of life. From June the 12th, Mercury enters shadows here. A travel plan, course, legal matter, belief, or publishing projects may need review now. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 10th house of career and public life. This is excellent for visibility, recognition, attraction, support from authority figures, and being seen in a warmer light. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, debt, taxes, inheritance, true, and transformation. Plan intention around emotional honesty, financial clarity, and deep trust. Then Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your 7th house of relationship, marriage, business partnership, clients, contracts, and open enemies. Scorpio, this is important. Relationship wounds may rise to the surface. Fear around abandonment, rejection, trust, control, or safety may appear. But this is not here to break your relationship. This is here to reveal where healing is needed. You may realize what controlling everything is not that controlling everything is not the same as feeling safe. On June 29, Mercury station retrograde in your 9th house, asking you to rethink your beliefs, directions, education, or travel plans. The Capricorn full moon activates your 3rd house, brings a culmination around communication, siblings, learning, or important conversation. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of growth of your 10th house. Scorpio career expansion is coming. Leadership, public recognition, and professional growth can increase over the next year. Your message for June is trust is changing, your path is changing, and your public life is preparing to grow. Let me know down below in the comments, Scorpio, what are you ready to be recognized for? I would love to know. Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius. June is deep, honest, transformational, and by the end of the month, full of expansion. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, debt, taxes, inheritance, emotional vulnerability, and deep psychological truth. You may be thinking about trust. You may be thinking about money you share with others. You may be thinking about what you carry emotionally but rarely say it out loud. Around June 8 to 11, Venus and Jupiter meet Cancer in your 8th house. This can bring support through partner, a financial blessings, emotional healing, deeper intimacy, or a powerful psychological breakthrough. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadow here. Shared money, emotional conversation, intimacy, or trust matters may need review now. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 9th house of travel, teaching, publishing, spirituality, and expansion. This is gorgeous inspiration, love through travel, creative learning, marketing, and shared wisdom, sharing your wisdom. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. This is a fresh start in love, business, contracts, clients, or one-to-one dynamic. Plant intention around the kind of relationship you want to grow. The Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your 6th house of health, work routines, service, co-workers, and daily habits. Sagittarius, this may reveal where your lifestyle is not supporting your body. You may notice burnout, overwork, poor habits, or a lack of support in daily life. But it also gives you the chance to heal your relationship with rest, routine, and receiving help. You do not need to carry everything by yourself. On June 29th, Mercury station direct retrograde in your 8th house, asking you to review finances, trust, intimacy, and emotional contract. The Capricorn full moon activates your 2nd house, bringing the money self-worth matter to clarity. Then Jupiter, your ruling planet enters Leo on June 30th and moves into your 9th house till the next year. This is powerful for travel, teaching, publishing, studying, spiritual work, international work, and big life expansion. Your message for June is release what is heavy, refine what is shared, and prepare for your world to become bigger. Comment below, Sagittarius. Where is your life calling you to expand? Capricorn. Capricorn. June is all about relationships, emotional balance, joy, work, and deeper transformation. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 7th house of relationships, marriage, business, partnerships, clients, contracts, and one-to-one dynamics. You may be thinking more deeply about the people closest to you, not just what is practical, but what feels emotionally safe, fair, and nurturing. Around June 8 to 11, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your 7th house. This can bring support, love, kindness, reconciliation, relationship blessings. helpful clients, or a generous person entering your life. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadows here. Relationship conversations may not be fully completed yet. Let them unfold. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 8th house of intimacy, shared money, trust, vulnerability, and transformation. This can deeply deepen emotional and psychological connection, but it can also reveal where giving and receiving are out of balance. The new moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 6th house of work, health routine, and daily life. Plan intention around better habits, better time management, healing, and healing the body, or creating a lifestyle that supports you. Then Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your 5th house of joy, romance, children's creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. Capricorn, this is big. You're healing your relationship with joy itself, with play, with romance, with being creative without needing it to be productive. You may notice where you have prioritized responsibility so much that feeling pleasures is uncomfortable for you. This transit asks you to let life soften you again. On June 29, Mercury station retrogrades in your relationship house and the full moon happens in Capricorn in your 1st house. This may bring an emotional realization about who you are, what you need, and how relationship reflects your identity. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begin a new year of growth in your 8th house. This can expand intimacy, shared money, investment, healing, therapy, psychology, and deep transformation. Your message for June Capricorn is very strong. You do not have to be strong by withholding your heart. Real strength allows softness too. Comment below, Capricorn, whether you're ready to receive more. I would love to know down below in the comments. Aquarius rising. Hello, Aquarius. How are you? June asking you to create a life that feels good to live in every day. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your 6th house of work, health, routine, habits, co-workers, pets, and daily responsibilities. You may start asking, is my lifestyle actually supporting me? Is the way I live, my everyday habits are good for me? Is my body being nurtured enough? Is my schedule is emotionally sustainable? Around 8th of June till 11 Venus and Jupiter meet Cancer in your 6th house. This can bring support at work, healing in your routine, and better habits, helpful co-workers, or a renewed desire to care of your body. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadows here. Health, work routine, and schedule matters may need to be reviewed now. There may be delays. The plans can work out in different way. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your 7th house of relationship, and this is beautiful for love, partnerships, clients, business connection, and attracting warmer, more generous people within your life. New moon in Gemini on June 14 activates your 5th house of creativity, romance, children's joy, and self-expression. Plant intention around pleasure, What makes you feel alive? What do you want to create? Then Chiron enters Taurus on June 19 and begins a healing cycle in your fourth house of home, family roots, childhood, property, and emotional foundation. Aquarius, this may bring healing around family patterns, belonging, emotional safety, or feeling at home in your own body. Old memories may surface, but they're surfacing to be healed. You may begin asking, what does home mean to me now? In June 29, Mercury station direct in your sixth house, asking you to review routines, health, work, and daily responsibilities. The Capricorn full moon activates your 12th house, bringing closure, rest, emotional release, and spiritual insights. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of expansion in your 7th house. Relationship growth, partnership expands, high-end contracts, love, and meaningful one-to-one connection can become a major blessing now. Your message for June, Aquarius, is your daily life is not a small thing. It is foundation that allows love, creativity, and connection to grow. Comment below, Aquarius, what routines are you ready to change in your daily life? Routines, habits, hobbies, let me know. I would love to know. Pisces rising. Pisces. June brings focus to creativity, love, home, communication, and your daily lifestyle. Mercury enters Cancer on June the 1st and activates your fifth house of romance, children's creativity, joy, pleasure, hobbies, and self-expression. You may feel more emotionally creative now. You may want to write, speak, create, love, play, or reconnect with something that make your heart feel alive. Around June 8 to 11, Venus and Jupiter meet in Cancer in your fifth house. This is one of the sweetest placements of the month, Pisces. It can bring romance, joy, creative blessings, fertility themes. Someone can get pregnant, beautiful moments with children, or a deep reconnection with pleasure. From June 12th, Mercury enters shadows here. A romance, creative project, or child-related matters may need review now. Venus enters Leo on June 13 and activates your sixth house of health, work, routine, hobbies, pets, and daily responsibilities. This brings beautifully into your everyday life. Brings beauty into your everyday life. You may want to improve your routine, enjoy your work more, or create habits that feel warm and meaningful. The new moon in Gemini on June the 14th activates the fourth house of home, family roots, property, and emotional foundations. Plant intentions around your living space, around healing and inner peace. Then Chiron enter Taurus on June 19 and begin a healing cycle in your third house of communication, mindset, siblings, learning, writing, and voice. Pisces, this may bring healing around being hurt. Maybe you were misunderstood. Maybe you learn to doubt your voice. Maybe you speak kindly to others, but not to yourself. This transit asks you to heal your mind body connection and the words you use towards yourself. On June 29, Mercury station retrograde in your fifth house, asking you to review love, creativity, children, joy, and self-expression. Capricorn full moon activates your 11th house, bringing a culmination around friendship, community, dreams, or social network. Then Jupiter enters Leo on June 30th and begins a year of expansion in your 6th house. Your work routine, health, lifestyle, and daily rhythm can grow and improve. Your message for June, Pisces, is joy is not a distraction from your healing. Joy is part of the healing. Comment below, Pisces. What brings your heart back to life?